Tonight, Fox 45 News is pushing for answers as the summer of violence continues in the city. Keith Daniels looks into shots fired during a shoplifting incident, and Mackenzie Frost hears from a mother whose daughter is caught up in juvenile crime. We begin with Jeff Abel with a deep dive into the shooting and the investigation. Jeff?
Well, while the city's own assessment of how it handled this shooting may have been lengthy, tonight the mother of one teenage victim tells us it hardly went far enough.
Every single day we are forced to adjust to living without my daughter.
At a community meeting in West Baltimore tonight, Crystal Gonzalez described her anguish and her anger at a city which she says has failed her.
I just want to say how heartbreaking it is to know how terribly officers have failed my daughter.
Her daughter, 18-year-old Aaliyah Gonzalez, was one of two people shot dead during a mass shooting in Brooklyn more than 2 months ago. Last week, the city issued a 173-page assessment of its handling of the shooting and found that the city failed to properly prepare and protect the hundreds of people attending a block party that night.
You all failed. Every one of you organizations that has something to do with it, you failed.
Former NAACP President Marvin Duck Cheatham is calling on Maryland's congressional delegation to request a federal probe of the shooting. There are too many unanswered questions, he says, and still no arrest of those directly responsible.
We are not satisfied with the city patting themselves on the back, writing their own report. We're saying this must not happen again.
We have a job, right?
Right.
To protect and to serve.
That's right.
You showed up to work that day. You did not protect. You did not serve.
Crystal Gonzalez is also calling for a deeper review, insisting that she deserves to know what really happened that night and why.
Let me tell you what happens when you don't protect and serve. My daughter ends up in an urn in my living room. Do you understand me? You showed up to work that day, but you did not work. You failed.
Those calling for a federal probe say they reached out to Maryland's congressional delegation almost 2 weeks ago, but so far have received no response. We're live tonight. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Jeff, thank you. We just heard from the mother of 18-year-old Aaliyah Gonzalez. Fox 45 News also sat down with her last week once the city's after-action reports were released. She says police should have known more about the shooting and should have been prepared.
The night my daughter was shot, that's the same thing they said. The very first thing they said is we didn't know about it until earlier today. And I said to my husband, then they're lying.
Well, Baltimore police isn't the only agency facing questions about the shooting. The mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement, MONSE, confirmed Safe Streets employees mediated 5 incidents believed to involve guns on the night of the shooting. They didn't say where the incidents took place or how they were related to that shooting. 4 teens have been arrested. 2 of the suspects were wearing ankle monitors and being supervised by the Maryland Department of Juvenile Services. Police haven't arrested anyone for the deaths, though, of Aaliyah Gonzalez or Kylis Fagbemi. And the Baltimore City Council will hold a second meeting on the mass shooting, a second hearing, I should say, on the mass shooting. That's scheduled for the same day that state lawmakers will meet to discuss juvenile crime. The mother of a 14-year-old says her own daughter needs to face consequences for stealing cars.
Kids today is taught that everything's supposed to be given to them, no matter if they break the law or not.
Well, that mother, far from the only one voicing concerns. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost continues our team coverage with the calls for change.
This story really underscores what we continue to hear from parents, prosecutors, and the police. They say that current juvenile justice laws are not teaching kids consequences for their actions, and that crimes are escalating.
Being a mom of a teenager can be tough. Wow, and they come all the time?
Every day.
But this Baltimore mom is facing an uphill battle with her daughter.
When she came home, she went out and stole a car that night and been getting arrested since, on home detention.
Ray doesn't want to share her last name or face. She does want to share her story
and it's eye-opening.
She stole the vehicle. They called me so abruptly in the middle of the day. I let them know that she does this. She get in trouble every day, crime. Y'all keep letting her off the hook. She's going to come home and do the same thing.
An ankle monitor doesn't stop Ray's 14-year-old daughter from stealing cars, and keeping her at home under control is a losing battle.
But she's been arrested ever since. On home detention, they still won't do nothing. They won't violate her. And they're teenagers. They know what they're doing. They know right from wrong. They need to start locking these kids up. They need to change the laws.
It's that plea for change that's coming from more than just parents. Police.
Under the new laws of the state of Maryland, it has become more difficult for police to question young people about anything.
And prosecutors saying the same thing.
There's nothing the law will allow us to do to hold them accountable. And they're doing whatever they want.
They know that, nothing's really going to happen to them if they keep their crime in a certain limit of types of crime.
They come in, we can't detain them, they're back in the community the next day.
But some lawmakers, like one of the architects of the juvenile justice law, Senator Joe Carter, says police and prosecutors don't understand the laws and are missing what their role is to play.
The belief that laws need to be changed because nothing can be done is part of a false narrative that's been spread. So that's something that I don't know if it's a lack of education on law enforcement or not, but it's something that they need to know that they can avail themselves of.
You have to put accountability measures in place.
Zach Smith, a criminal justice policy expert, says sometimes kids don't want to take the help being offered, and it's up to lawmakers to change the parameters, especially as frustration from the community builds.
You're increasingly seeing members of the community, including parents and relatives who care about these juveniles, as well as victims' families, speaking out, saying that there needs to be accountability until lawmakers get serious about combating this juvenile crime crisis in their communities. You're going to continue to see the same results.
While lawmakers, prosecutors, and leaders all call for more parental accountability,
We tried everything, literally.
this Baltimore mom says she's trying everything.
I worry about my daughter not living till her birthday.
And she says it's the laws that need to change.
I think that's so unfair because it's parents like me who fought and it's asking for help and nobody is doing anything. Stop blaming the parents when things go wrong, when it's clearly a failed system.
The first step towards change could come next week when the House Judiciary Committee holds a hearing to hear from prosecutors as well as the Department of Juvenile Services. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Prosecutors across the state are taking issue with two laws, including the Juvenile Justice Reform Act, which prevents children 13 and under from being charged with most crimes. And there's the Child Interrogation Act, which keeps police from questioning juveniles without a parent and attorney present. That brings us to our question of the day. Who do you believe should be held accountable for the juvenile crime crisis in Maryland? Lawmakers, parents, both, or neither? So far, 92% of people who voted say both. You can weigh in right now at foxbaltimore.com/vote. Baltimore police make an arrest in an apparent shoplifting and getaway attempt in southwest Baltimore today. Police shot at the suspect, they say hit an officer. Fox 45's Keith Daniels joins us right now with an update on the investigation and reaction from residents who have something else to say. Keith?
Well, Kai, the acting police commissioner, he says at this point he's not sure how many shots were fired. But tonight, one thing is clear, police have an arrest. It's back to business at the 7-Eleven on Wilkins Avenue near Caton Avenue in southwest Baltimore. The evening flow of customers coming and going. But earlier, an alarming break in business. An alleged shoplifting suspect seen in this photo shot at by police after investigators say the man's vehicle hit police officers while he tried getting away. Police quickly released images of the suspect to the public.
And he is considered to be dangerous if anyone runs into him or happens to see him out on the street.
Acting Police Commissioner Richard Worley says it unfolded just after 11 a.m. Police were following up on a burglary investigation at a convenience store next door when the officer's attention was drawn to the 7-Eleven, an individual shoplifting. Police say he then got into a black SUV, then struck an officer.
I believe it was the officer, female officer, was struck in the hand by the vehicle as it was fleeing the scene, as they were trying to get the suspect out of the vehicle.
Worley says a second officer experiencing chest pains was taken to shock trauma. In the end, just 6 hours later, the suspect, identified as Alex Huson, caught, arrested in Ellicott City after gunfire.
They overreacted, yes. Yes, I'm saying that they overreacted.
That caught customers by surprise.
They should not have shot at that man, no. If you want to shoot at the tires to stop the car, but you want to kill him, because that's what bullets do, right? Because when you shoot a gun and you're a police officer, you're trained to shoot the gun for deadly reasons.
But another customer says police did nothing wrong.
Definitely want them engaged in crime, but I want to see them take care of all of it, you know? I mean, I'd rather they take care of it instead of we being out here taking care of it, you know? I mean, that's what, I'm not going to say that's what we paid them for, but I mean, that's their job.
Well, police confirm the suspect was neither shot nor injured. He's in jail tonight facing several charges, including attempted first-degree murder. We're live at City Police Headquarters. Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.